Indictment number 2023-GS4007440. State of South Carolina, County of Richland versus Rick Chow. We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty.
The question was answered when he was shot dead in the streets 130 yards from a store where he did absolutely nothing wrong. The question was answered when this jury found him not guilty today. The question was answered because a child, a 14-year-old child shot dead in Richland County, got no justice. When the family got no justice, the anger is palpable tonight. You can feel it, you can touch it, because people saw a child that looked like their own, that did nothing wrong. A child that all the witnesses described had fear in his eyes when he left the store. And then he started to run as two grown men chased him down over a football field and shot him dead.
That boy, people in South Carolina.
Rick Chow, a former Colombian convenience store owner, was found not guilty of murder on June 1st, 2026, and the 2023 fatal shooting of 14-year-old Cyrus carmak-Belton. The acquittal has sparked outrage from locals and nationwide. Charleston White spoke on the Rick Chow verdict, and he got disrespectful as always by saying, "F that kid, he shouldn't have ran." And for the people that don't know what's going on or just want more details, make sure y'all smash that like button and watch the full video, because I'm gonna break it down. It's your boy Music 101, the Street Reporter, and I'm back with another video.
They keep asking me, what you think about the little boy that got shot in the back in South Carolina? That little boy. What I tell you, me about running from shit? Now, you don't run from a mother thing, unless it's danger. But if a store owner come chase after you, man, you better not, man, call me. Call your mom and daddy. So the little boy that got shot in the back, not my problem. My boy over there cooking. My boy over there cooking. Don't ask me about no mother black person who got a daddy, a cousin, uncles, granddaddy. Ask his family what they gonna do about it. Don't call me. Nigga, I'm balling like a mother. Balling. I'm balling like a mother. I'm supposed to stop balling to come help some police in South Carolina. Help yourselves. Help yourselves. Y'all ain't gonna go on the motherfucker. So why y'all me? I'm supposed to stop with all these pretty little to come say no justice, no peace, and ain't nobody ready to die. See, when I was ready to die about this shit, y'all wasn't ready. Y'all was saying Black Lives Matter. Don't with me now. I'm with the white folks. I done sold out. Y'all had the best of me. Now y'all got the worst of me. I'm with white folks. I'm sold out. I'm not going back to help. I'm not Harriet Tubman. I got off the plantation. I got away. I'm free. I ain't coming back to help nobody that didn't come out of here. Us that's not come out my mama household. Not my fight. Boy, people in South Carolina. I told y'all after they killed George Floyd, they go kill another. Y'all ain't gonna do shit. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing but get mad. This too shall pass. They getting ready to have the Knicks championship, and who playing in the NBA? Once they have that NBA championship, we don't give a damn who died. We don't give a damn who died. So guess what? Rest in peace, little boy. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Y'all mad about Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman still around him. Y'all was mad about Eddie Gray, Freddie Gray. Didn't do nothing. Mike Brown. Tiana Jefferson. So I can go on and on. They keep, and ain't no black people. Ain't no black people. But let a black people step on your Nikes. You stepped on my Michael Jordan tennis shoe. Boom, 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 boom. Because I remember a few years ago, didn't Farrakhan and them Muslims did a 1 million man march and they said justice or else? Can somebody call Farrakhan and wake the minister up and ask him, say, hey, minister, what we supposed to do now? Because we done had 2 million man marches. We done had the highest murder rate of black people against black people in the history of black people. We've been hollering no justice. We still ain't got no justice. Okay, what's the or else? What's the or else? Say, Lil Durk in prison for killing 3 niggas. Hollering free Lil Durk. I'm saying free Mr. Chows. They made an honest mistake. They thought the black kid was stealing. Had the black kid not ran and said, hey y'all, I didn't steal nothing, and stop, he'll still be alive. I told my boy one time he ran from the police. My mom and them said, son, don't say that. Son, don't say that. I said, no, mama, because that's what they do when you run. If you've been doing wrong, nigga, don't run. If you've been doing wrong, nigga, stay there. And if you ain't been doing wrong, stay there. Why you running? Because anytime a black man run, what I say, they think you done something wrong, you done stole something. That's what I taught my boy. See, when you got a black daddy that can teach you how to be a black boy, you know how to move. But when you got a mama been whooping on you, trying to force you and discipline you to be what she can't teach you to be, you do what that boy did, run like a coward with a backpack. So don't y'all go to get mad at me when Mr. Child is free and innocent. And y'all asking for Lil Durk to be free. Right now, we got the whole industry, and I want everybody in the rap industry here, but y'all are saying free Lil Durk, somebody who have killed black people and have put hits on black people. But this man had a business, and this black kid came and they thought he had a gun. They found the gun next to his body. Why would he be running into a store with a backpack if he don't have a gun and he didn't steal nothing? Only people that's guilty run and steal. So y'all want me to believe this kid didn't steal nothing, didn't have a gun? And if people said he had a gun? I believe he ran. So say, man, he wasn't running for help. He wasn't running to help. Both of them. All y'all. I don't care about nothing. Whatever affects you don't affect me. Why? Because I got people I know that's not affected by it. Nigga, we got to pay bills tomorrow. We don't give a damn about what happened to that boy. We may act like we do when we look at the video or read about it, but when I put it down and start reading and cut the TV on, I don't think about that little boy no more. So yeah, I just get all here to stir y'all motherfuckers.
To respond to what Charleston White was saying, man, right message, wrong delivery, wrong person. But y'all got to understand his frustration with us as black people. When he was walking the right path, when he was doing the right thing, when he was out in these streets and going in these rooms and meetings and courtrooms and linking up with these organizations, helping us black people and the youth, we laughed at him. We made fun of him online about his appearance. Now that he's no longer the face or on the forefront for the black people and the youth, and he's so provocative, we hate him. But his frustration comes from when he was doing the right thing and he was speaking properly, we laughed at him and ignored him. So you kind of got to take what he's giving out. And if you don't like it, don't pay attention to it. But something he said, I've been saying from day one. We get so riled up, but we're not going to do nothing. Let's just be honest. We asked for the Epstein's file. When they dropped whatever they dropped, all we did was post it online, get in comments, make fun of the people who they named, and that was it. We used it for our entertainment. We begged for months, years. Drop the Epstein files. For what? So we can use it for our entertainment? We march when situations like what just happened in South Carolina. We march and say Black Lives Matter. But after a couple of months pass, it's back to normal. Like, we forget about it. Everybody was going on strike with Target. After a couple of months, they forgot we was on strike. They back shopping at Target. Like, to be honest, we don't stand on nothing. That's one reason why I really don't speak on political stuff, why I don't cover political stuff, why I don't get attached to the outrage when it come to our people, because it's only a trend. It only be for the moment. We only be affected by it because it's viral. But after a couple of months, we done with it. So why should people put their life on the line for something that's just gonna be for the moment? Until we all get together, stand firm together until the end, nothing will change. But let's continue. Rick Chows was found not guilty.
We begin tonight's broadcast with a follow-up to last night's not guilty verdict of Rick Chow, a day after he was acquitted of murdering 14-year-old Cyrus Carmak-Belton. We saw reaction, or we're getting reaction, from the community. Our crews saw protesters gathered outside Chow's former gas station off of Park Lane Road in Columbia. Richland deputies also at the store now at this hour. They have been there since shortly after the verdict was announced last night. News 19's Whitney Sullivan speaking with criminal defense attorney John Mobley tonight. He was asked, where does he believe things possibly broke down for the prosecution in presenting his case?
From opening statements, one of the vast contrasts that I saw between the prosecution and the defense, where I believe the prosecutors dropped the ball, is they didn't really do much to humanize the victim in the case. And I remember listening to both opening statements. And while the prosecutor, the solicitor, did mention he was 14 years old, that was kind of it. Had I been prosecuting that case, I would have talked about not only his age, but where he went to school, what he liked to do for fun, what video games he liked. I would have wanted to bring him to life so the jurors could have some image of this young man, this life in their mind, and they just didn't do that. Something I would have done differently if I was a prosecutor, and I don't think that they really leaned into the fact that this teen was hunted. They talked about him being chased out of the store about a bottle of water. That was kind of their big theme. They kind of hung everything on that, all about a bottle of water. This teen was hunted. I mean, 130 yards. And I remember when, in opening statements, when they talked about that, one thing I thought was great was he described that it was that 130 yards would be the equivalent of a football field, goalpost to goalpost. Had I given that opening statement, I would have had that picture up there. I would have had a visual picture of a football field from goalpost to goalpost, so the jury could see how far they hunted. These two grown men hunted this 14-year-old. And I would have used that word. I wouldn't have said chase. I would have said hunted. That's how I would have really portrayed this, and which I think is accurate, quite frankly. Now, on the flip side, the defense, in their opening statement, they talked about the defendant's credentials and how he came to America and how he built his business and his family. They gave the jury all this information to humanize this person. So, I mean, big difference. I think that made a big difference in the jury's mind because they can identify with one side more than the other.
Again, criminal defense attorney John Mobley with his opinion about what happened in this case. And new tonight, we're hearing from the Fifth Circuit solicitor Byron Gibson on the not guilty verdict. He did issue a statement late today saying that last night's verdict has brought on strong emotions from our local and national communities. He added that he's disappointed with last night's outcome and continues to believe that Chows' actions were not justifiable. However, he adds that he respects our criminal justice system and the jury's decision.
Rick Chows' son took the stand and told the jury what he seen happen from his perspective.
So I watched a young man come in to the store, and I was stocking things onto the shelf, and so I went to the register, and I hear my mom ask him to leave his backpack at the front of the store. And so he does, and he starts to go around the store, and then I see he goes to the water cooler, and that's when I think he pockets a water. And so he comes to the front, starts coming to the front, and I ask him if there's anything in his pocket, and he says no. My mom, she also asked him, and then I see he turns to both of us and he tries to show there's nothing in his pocket, but he keeps his hands in the pocket and still trying to hide something. And so after that, he turns around, he grabs his backpack and walks out the door. And while he's going out the door and both hands are out of the pocket now, I see something heavy just droop down in his hoodie pocket. And so that's when I come around the counter and I call out to him, hey, and he doesn't turn around, he just keeps going. And so I walk to the door, I walk out the door, and I see he turns the corner of the store. And so I walk over to the corner and then I hear my dad come up behind me, and he calls out "hey" to him, and he turns around and immediately turns back around and starts to sprint away. And that's when I start to run. And before he leaves the parking lot, I see he throws something out to the right, and so I slow down. I slow down for like a second, and I glance back, and I don't see what he threw. I only see trash and litter. So I immediately turn back around and continue following him. And so I see he crosses the street, and I go to cross the street, and then I see he trips and falls flat on the grass. And so I was running full speed, so I end up catching up to him. And when I catch up to him, I see something is in his hand. I'm not sure what it is yet. But as he starts to get up, I see that it's a gun, and he points it at me. So I immediately put my hands up. I start to back away from him quickly, and then I yell, "He has a gun!" And then I turn to my dad, who's coming up behind us, and I yell at him again, "He has a gun!" And I'm still backing up, and I watch my dad, and I watch him yell, "Drop it, drop it," and he yells no, and then pulls his gun and fires one shot.
Let's just say he did steal the water bottle. Not saying he did, but let's just say he did steal a water bottle. A kid lost his life over a water bottle. The store owners put their life in jeopardy over a water bottle that costs no more than $3. It gotta be some kind of law set that any products under a certain amount that the store owner, I don't care if it's a corporation or a mom and pop store, cannot pursue the suspects that's stealing. It gotta be something in place to protect the store owners and the suspects, because this kid losing his life was not worth it over a water bottle. They ran 100 and some yards. I'm talking about longer than the length of a football field to chase this kid down for a damn water bottle. And as a child, as an adult, as a person that's on the other side of this situation that is stealing, at some point, you got to tell yourself, hey, is it worth it? It's just a water bottle. Stop. Give it back. Let them kick you out the store. If they call the police, okay, that's petty theft. Like, I feel like sometimes we put ourselves in situations and we so scared of the outcome and the consequences that petty situations turn major and sometimes be life-threatening. But the lawyer that represented Mr. Chows, he was black. And he got a lot of backlash, but he spoke out, and this is what he had to say. Check it out.
So I just got done defending a pretty high-profile case that I think most of the world knows about. And a lot of folks have been asking a lot of questions, and usually I don't talk about the cases, but in this situation, given the negative attention and the vitriol and the racist threats and the death messages that myself and my family, I thought I'd address some things. And one of the biggest ones people have asked me is, why would you take on this representation? Now, first, I've been practicing law for 25 years. Here recently and shortly, and actually throughout that entire time, I've represented 3 African-American males who are accused of a little white girl. I have represented an individual who was accused of a person folding his body and sticking him in an abandoned building in Florence, South Carolina. I represented a young lady who was accused of and drowning her newborn baby. I have represented countless individuals who have been accused of criminal sexual conduct, countless individuals who have been accused of child. I represent an individual in Florence who was accused of murder, killing his rival along with his wife, who was also in the car. So there have been countless individuals who I've represented in the past. And so when someone says, why did you take this case? I don't judge. God judges. If you pick and choose who are you going to judge in your cases, it makes you ineffective of what you're doing. And so people say, why this case? Well, why not any of those ones with the outrage that has come forth? As criminal defense attorneys, we represent the Constitution. We represent individuals. And so when people say comments to me, and I've heard a lot of them like, you didn't have to take this one. Well, I don't have to pay my mortgage either, but if you don't, they end up taking that from you. When the individual came to me and requested representation, that's the second thing. Oh, you're just a token. You were just put on the team because you're black. I'm pretty fucking good at what I do. And I find insult to that for someone who would just say the only reason somebody would ask me for representation is because I'm black. If you check and see the things that I do, I am very damn good at what I do, and I'm a very good lawyer. And I will not apologize for being somebody when someone needs, they contact and want a good lawyer. And the assumption is, which I hate, when someone says they want the best lawyer, by saying that you're saying the best lawyer can't be African American. That's disappointing on our parts. As far as the legal defense, when a person comes to us and says the following sentence, look, a gun was pointed at my son. I thought he was going to die, so I fired and shot. That was the legal defense. There was nothing creative. There was nothing tricky. There was nothing fancy. That was the legal defense. Nothing was hidden. I want people to say there was all this great stuff. That was the legal defense. This was presented to a jury of 12 individuals, 7 of which were minorities, who heard that legal defense and said, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't create those facts. I'm also hearing finally, probably most importantly, that that people are saying we need to boycott Sean Kent. Fuck it. I'm not, TJ Maxx, you're going to boycott me, and then someone says, we're going to boycott him and we're going to take our problems to a white lawyer. Okay, yeah, that'll show me. That we don't need him. Well, enjoy jail. Enjoy prison. Boycott me if you will. But I will constantly and always fight for what's right. People sending the messages, and there have been some there have been some creative messages. I guess the number one is that you have no eyebrows and stuff like that, which I know is true. So there have been some very creative messages, but there have also been some insulting ones, and there's been a lot of people who have requested phone calls, and I've talked to them. If somebody sends me a message and it's nice and polite and say, I just disagree with what you do, I've picked up the phone and I've talked to them. Because I do think a system works better if you have an actual intelligent conversation. I do think there are problems with the way, and let me make this clear. The state of South Carolina did everything that they needed to do in this case. They tried their damnedest to present the case that they wanted to present. There are some very good lawyers in that office who I respect tremendously, and I know they're getting a lot of hate also, which I think is unfair because they do what they have to do, as do we, and that's what makes the system work. If we do not fight for everybody equally, then the system fails and stops to work. I hate it, and I hate it for the young man's family. I hate it for Cyrus's family. I hate it that a young man died. I 100% do. Prosecutor said some stuff that there's a lot of things he is not going to be able to experience in life, and I fucking hate it. I can't control that part. But I do. It saddens me. It saddens me that a young life has been snuffed out entirely too early, and I think whether people believe it or not, the defendant would agree with that. He felt that he was in a situation that something had to be done or his son would be dead now. That's his position. People disagree with it, but that's his position. And a 12-member jury heard that position and said the same. So again, it's like, am I a sellout by showing the world that, you know what? I'm really good at what I do and I'm going to fight like crazy for you or for anyone else. And so all of the threat messages and all the other situations, I hope down the road, if you need a lawyer, someone is there for you and you get a really damn good lawyer, the best one you can be. And I hope someday we get to the point in our society where we say the best lawyers in the world have to be white and not necessarily black or people of color. And we start to realize that good lawyers come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. And this is the task that we have chosen. This is the job we have chosen. This is the obligation that we have taken on, and this is one that I'll take on. I hate it though. I hate the hate, and I hate the fact that we cannot look past and realize that sometimes people can be good lawyers and still good people.
Another reason why I never see eye to eye with my peers, because I always see both sides of the coin. And let's just take a step back and put our foot in the shoes of Rick Chows. If what his son said is true. When they was chasing Cyrus, he fell, got up and pulled out a gun and pointed it at your child. Would you hesitate to fire your gun and protect your child? Put the biasness to the side, put your emotions down, and be honest with yourself. If you and your child was chasing Cyrus and he pulled the gun out and pointed it at your child, you not knowing will he pull the trigger or not, and you drew your gun, would you hesitate to save your child's life? Because at the end of the day, you can't read minds, and you don't know if this person will pull that trigger on you or your child. Would you wait and see what will happen, or would you act fast to save your life and your child's life? I just want y'all to think about that. But like I said, I feel like them chasing him over a bottle of water, it wasn't worth it for their life or his. A police officer that arrived at the scene after Cyrus was shot, he gave a statement of what he knew, what he observed, and what he thought. Check it out.
So this young man went into the store with no money, an empty book bag, and a loaded firearm, and you're telling this jury there was nothing suspicious about that?
Well, we don't know they didn't have any money on him at all. There was no money found on him.
Again, my question was, you're telling this jury there's nothing suspicious about that?
Absolutely not.
And that is normal, and that happens?
It depends on who you are, what your normal is.
I'm asking you as the investigator.
But I can't speak on behalf of him. It's okay. I would probably do the same thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You would go into a business with an empty book bag, a loaded firearm, with a bullet in the chamber, with no money in your pocket?
No, you asked me about the money.
Okay, I guess what happened is, officer, if you'll allow me to ask my question, I promise you I'll give you opportunity to answer. If you simply allow me to finish the question, I'll give you as much time as you want. Is that a fair statement?
Fair.
So as I was saying, what you said to this jury right now is you probably would have done the same thing. And my question was, as in going into a business with an empty book bag and a firearm, pick water in and out of a cooler with no finances or no money on you to pay for it. That's something that you would have done, is what your testimony was?
To that question, no.
Okay. And it's your testimony that that behavior that I just described was nothing that caused you any concern whatsoever? And watching the videos and rewatching them?
Well, that was determined or found out after the fact, as far as the book bag being empty and him having a firearm.
Well, officer, when we talk about investigation, one of the things we talk about is we investigate the entire thing, the totality of the circumstances. We don't piecemeal investigation, do we?
We do not.
And so we investigate the totality of the circumstance. So are you telling me you did not investigate the totality?
We did, but go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But you asked about the store. At the time he was in the store, there was no indication that he had a firearm, that the book bag was empty, and that he had no money. No one knew that.
One thing the defense did just then, questioning that investigator, they used the word suspicious. They tried to create a narrative around Cyrus being suspicious by not having any money. But like the investigator said, at the time in the store, they don't know what he had, including with the gun. They don't know he had a gun when he was inside that store. And it's one thing that I learned since I've been watching audit videos. Being suspicious is not against the law. Just because you suspicious, that don't give the police the right to ask you for ID. That don't give them the right to investigate you. Being suspicious is not breaking the law. And something else that investigator said, what may be something to you might not be something to me. And that's the core reason of why being suspicious is not against the law.
Discovered that he had possessed that exact firearm within 24 hours of this incident.
It appeared to be the same, I guess.
So is that, from your example, from looking at defense exhibit number 1, is that the light that was on the firearm that was found on scene that day?
It appears to be.
And that would be the firearm that we believe is in state's exhibit number 11.
Yes.
So again, through the course of your investigation, do you not find it strange, weird, peculiar that on the day before this, or within 24 hours, this is posted and then he goes into the store through your investigation?
He shouldn't have had a gun, period.
Okay. Now I want to talk about the things that happened inside of the store, okay? Is that fair?
Okay.
And talking about what happened inside of the store and the videos that we just watched, We watched actions of different individuals. We watched the actions of Andy Chow. Yes.
I don't know if you're asking me a question or making a statement, sir.
Did we watch the actions of Andy Chow?
We did.
Did we watch the actions of Rick Chow?
We did.
Did we watch the actions of Alice Chow?
We did.
And did we watch the actions of Cyrus?
We did.
We've already established that Cyrus would have had a firearm when he walked inside of the business.
That's correct.
We've already established that he legally did not have a right to either own that firearm or walk into the business with that firearm.
That is correct.
And then one of the questions comes up, and we're going to talk about Andy Chow's action that we watched in the video first. Okay? You have been at the front of that store before and looking back to where the coolers are?
On that day?
Yeah, anytime, like in part of your investigation, anytime.
I may have been in that store in my time in Richland County maybe 3 times, if that.
And that's fine. And one of the things that we have talked about is that Andy Chow had made a determination that he believed that Cyrus was stealing from the store.
Okay.
Is that a fair statement?
It is.
And then you went and looked back and forth at that video, and it appeared as though nothing had been stolen.
That is correct.
And that he was putting water back and forth, but it did not appear that he had stolen something.
That is true.
So after investigators analyzed the video, they see where Cyrus did not take a water bottle. He did not steal one thing. My question is, if he didn't, why did he run? And I understand he may be in fear, but if he's carrying a gun, to have a mentality to carry a gun at the age of 14. I'm not saying that he had the mentality of a gangster. I'm not saying he got to be the toughest, roughest, but just from me observing people in my hood, me growing up and my peers, when we started carrying guns, like we ain't scared of the typical store owner. What have I done to make me feel like I gotta run from this store owner? In fact, coming from the hood, when the store owner say something to us, what we do? We cuss them out, we be ready to fight, and etc. And then if you got the blicky on you, you definitely feel tough. So him running is confusion to me. But before I play his parents' reaction to Rick Chows being found not guilty, I do want to say this too. What was a 14-year-old doing with a 5-year-old? And I'm not going to put it on the parents because I done been out in them streets. I done portrayed to be this good kid and out doing dirt, and my parents don't know or have a clue what I'm doing. So I understand that 100%. And I feel like a lot of y'all on the internet be pointing the fingers at some of these kids' parents, when all reality, you know how you came up. You know that you was out in the streets doing some stuff that your parents had no idea and still don't. So I'm not going to put that fault on his parents of him having a gun at 14 years old. But the problem started way before he walked in that store. The problem started when Cyrus was walking around carrying a gun. Because at the end of the day, according to the facts of this case, that's why he lost his life. Because he allegedly pulled out a firearm and pointed it at the store owner's son. His mother spoke after Rick Chow was found not guilty. And she was upset. Everybody upset. And I understand. But like I said, I always look at both sides of the coin. I look at situations without emotions, because when you react with emotions, it make your judgment cloudy. But y'all check it out. And if you're enjoying the content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on all post notifications. It's free. Do it for me.
He was racially profiled. They followed him around. He was shopping. He took 4 waters, he put them back. He even showed them by shaking his hoodie that he took nothing. And he walked out of the store. He didn't argue with them. He didn't have any confrontation. He didn't curse them. He just walked out. He was respectful. And yet 2 grown people chased him. He fell and they shot him. He shot him dead, like as if he was a dog. And I do not understand how that jury can come back and say that he was not guilty. He was in a runner's stance. It was shown by the pathologist, and they said he was not guilty. It was devastating for me to get a call from Alvin S. Glenn letting me know that Rick Chow was released. That broke me more than you can ever imagine, because my murderer of my son was set free. And it's not fair and it's unjust. And nobody can tell me that this is not racially motivated, because I'm not supposed to be on social media anyway. But when I go and I look at my social media, I have racist people coming to my page, going under my son's pictures, leaving the most horrific things, saying that they're glad he's dead, good riddance, and I am tired. I don't want this to happen to any other child. No black or brown child should have to go through this. No parent should have to go through this. This has to stop today. And I just learned today that South Carolina, if it's a murder charge, that they cannot bring in any of your prior acts. Rick Chows shot 2 people before. Rick Chows accosted a child in that store and beat her up with a gun on her hip. And none of that information could be brought to light. And I do not think that is fair. And if that is on the law books, that needs to be changed. Because if that was not there, then my son would have gotten justice. And to allow this person to terrorize this neighborhood for 12, 13 years is ridiculous. And it's just showing that it's okay to treat black and brown people wrong, and it's not. My son loved everybody. He would tell me like, oh, Mom, you're being judgmental. You shouldn't do that. That's against God. And the devil shot him dead, and he laid right there. And we got no justice from South Carolina. And I think it is disgusting. And I don't even know why. I have no words. But every day I will not be able to speak to my son, hear his voice change, see him grow, go to prom. He will never get married. I would never hold my grandchildren, nothing. But Chow is able to go home with his lion son, Andy Chow, and they're able to have dinner with the wife, Alice, who all 3 of them came out that store and they chased my baby. And I think the entire family should be held accountable because it was racially profiled. And I do not think that it is right, and they all should be punished. And I don't know what laws that we need to create to help our people, but it needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. Cyrus should not be gone. None of our children should be gone from the acts of racism, from profiling, from any of that. He should be here. And until the world treats us like we are human beings, I mean, come on. Y'all hire us. Y'all want us around. You like our culture. You want to listen to the music. You want to wear our clothes. You want to do all of that stuff. But when it comes to protecting us and when it comes to looking at our children, you look at us as if we are animals, and we are not. I am a college-educated woman. I hold a master's degree in information technology management. My son was not a thug. He was a 14-year-old boy who was trying to find his way. And for any person that acts like when they were 14, 15, 16, 17, that they did not do nothing wrong, that they did not smoke and drink and have sex and do whatever that they were not supposed to do by their parents, it is a lie. And it is judgmental, and I refuse to allow any of you to sit up there and make it seem like we were bad parents, because we were not. All of our children make mistakes, but I don't see anybody saying, oh, well, you know what? My kid did X, Y, and Z. My kid did X, Y, and Z. No, they're coming onto my page and try to demonize my child, and I will not have it. And it stops today. Keep your opinions to yourself. And until you are in my shoes and you have to bury a child, I don't want to hear nothing from you.
One last thing before we get out of here. Now, it has been rumored that Rick Chows and his family have beat people, kids per se, young adults that have came inside that store and attempted to steal. So the only reason that I can think about why Cyrus would run and he didn't do nothing was because he knew that the Chow family would get physical with people that's coming in their store trying to steal, whether he stole or not. And him running, falling, getting up and drawing the gun, Maybe he was scared. Maybe he felt like they was gonna beat him. But y'all get in the comments. Tell me what you think. Hey, do me a favor. Look down right there to the bottom left and hit that like button for me. Hit that like button right there. I appreciate it. I continue watching. Promo alert if you need promo. DM me on Instagram at music101CEO. $30 for one promo video on my YouTube. $50 for 3 promo videos on my YouTube. $70 for 6 promo videos on my YouTube. And $130 for 12 promo videos on my YouTube channel. Make sure y'all tap in and get that promo if you want to win. Charleston White has struck again. Loose cannon comes to about 18
5 step, I'm the leader of this 8 shit.